Hello everyone, this is the Cassian combat mission on Kafrene. Notably, this phase we're not doing any ops, so it is the hardest form of the Cassian combat mission on Kafrene. So here we're going to basically start off stunned. All allies are stunned at the start of the encounter for both waves. As you can imagine, with the enemies being Imperials, they also get a benefit from the Imperial modifier in which they can assist off each other, gain some damage stacking to the end of the encounter, and whenever they do their specials. So be real careful about that. That thing can really, it really, what is really what kills a lot of Leia teams here. Um, And to add to my complication, we're also doing Zepho this phase. And since Captain Rex is particularly useful in dealing with assisting Imperials by inflicting tenacity down, dazes, and offense down, we're not getting that. As you notice, my Captain Rex is Relic 9, ready to do that mission, and he would be the best tune to use for that mission, but I can't use him there this phase. Next phase I can, but this phase I can't because he's specifically reserved for this special mission, and I need him there. Now, obviously, special missions are more important in my eyes than combat missions. So, let's see what kind of team I come up with. Now, this team I did 3 battles with in the past in this scenario, where there's zero ops Kafrene. All of them succeeded, but I will admit, it is by no way, shape, or form is it a clean victory. The unit I went with are Leia, so I'm not using AdRad. I'm also not, since I'm a free to play player, my Omicrons, I kind of care about GAC a bit more, so I'm kind of not putting any Omicrons on my TB units. Therefore, I'm not really using AdRad, nor do I recommend AdRad during zero ops. I've heard a lot of people fail with that, so I'm bringing the full Leia team, full Rebels, R2 because I can't use Captain. Well, R2 is always there because R2 always helps Leia boost her health, keep her alive, boost everyone's offense as well, and stuns. That's the most important part because enemies can't assist if they're stunned. And then I brought in Kanan. Now, Kanan's interesting because I do have him at Relic 8 for the Phoenix mission on Lethal. The most important thing about him, besides the fact that he is a Rebel Jedi tank, which, like Old Ben, kind of, the Leia has some sort of synergy with that, with him being counterattacking with a basic. Not that Kanan can counterattack with a basic, but whenever Kanan attacks with the basic on his turn, he'll call Leia to assist, which also helps Leia a little bit as well. So he inflicts offense down. Notice, since there's no tenacity down on our team, or no one on our team can inflict tenacity down, Kanan probably won't land many offense down, but it's just a little bit helpful, mostly because he's a tank. And I think the most important part is that Kanan recovers 25% health whenever he suffers a debuff. Exposed hits for 20% health. So whenever they expose Kanan, just as long as they don't stack as many exposes on him, he benefits 5% health. So, and then just as long as Death Trooper doesn't inflict Death Mark or healing immunity, he's going to be fine. And if they're turning their attention on him, they're not turning their attention to Leia. And the longer they don't hurt Leia, for every turn that they don't hurt Leia, their mastery decreases throughout the battle. So ultimately, what we're hoping for is delaying the battle just long enough for the rest of our team to survive. Somebody will probably go down with Death Mark. I'm going to say right now, going to wave 2, I have always, in my previous 3 battles, one of my units always have died and cannot be brought back to life. It's different. The last battle was R2, the battle before it was Cassian, and then K2SO was the very first battle. I never had Kanan been Death Mark, but I'm expecting him to be okay. Just as long as Death Trooper doesn't Death Mark Leia. That's the most important part. And as you're gonna see, Leia is the heart of the team. I'm gonna do everything I can to try to protect Leia because she can bring everyone back. And honestly, she's the one that decreases the mastery from everyone. Since I'm not trying to make this video super long, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the battle. The initial sequence of action, very important. Everyone's stunned except Leia's immune to stun. The first thing I'm going to do is, since they're going to assist off each other, I'm going to try and inflict daze by using the middle ability on the guy who taunts. So, they last a little bit longer. And then I'm going to use the basic as everyone's about to take their turn, like Kanan, stuff like that, healing immunity, and also to remove healing immunity. We're just going to go ahead and target the Stormtrooper Commander. Excellent. And here's a tricky part. This planet also has a modifier in which you want to target and kill them, the one with the question marks. Once you critically hit them, the unit with the informant status effect. It's a status effect, it's not buff or debuff. And you gotta find it because it's a hidden one until you critically hit the enemy. If you kill them, you will gain armor penetration and some buffs. If they kill yours, they will get armor penetration and buffs. And I'm unsure whether or not Cassian was critically hit or had the informant debuff, so can't tell right now if they have their buffs already. What I can say is, here's the tricky part. You still want Death Trooper out of the way. Death Trooper, he's like enemy number 1. At least get this Deadeye buff off him, because then he gains 100% critical hit chance and increased critical damage. And this effect is removed if the unit becomes staggered. It also gets removed if you can dispel their buffs. So it's not like it's a locked buff. I'm going to try to daze him to try to protect the damage here. Alright. So here's the deal. K2, not very important to keep around. What is important, however, is I do like Kanan and I do want Leia. So I'm going to try and protect Leia a little bit here. Alright. So they wiped out our buff. Kanan gets another turn. Which, by the way, that's another thing that's going for Kanan. He gets 100% turn meter if this foresight gets removed. Now I'm going to try to inflict offense down. Oh. Okay, so K2SO gets the beat. And you know what? That's on cooldown. K2SO, useless piece of tank. He goes down. Even if you bring him back, he goes down pretty quickly. So you know what? This is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to try and inflict burning on everyone, try to get damage immunity, and hopefully everyone targets R2. Alright, since, fortunately for us, both the informant status effect, right here, and both the informant status effect and the Deadeye buff is on one unit that we're trying to kill, which is Death Trooper. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a basic to dispel it, so he doesn't have any increased critical damage effect. Of course, oh, that is so nice. That damage immunity is so nice. Well, obviously, I'm not gonna. I do like Kanan. Do I want to protect Kanan? Do I want to protect R2? I'm gonna dispel R2's debuff. Kind of a waste of damage immunity when he's hidden. But you know what? That's okay. We're going to go ahead basic. And, call Leia to assist for some extra damage. And Leia has this informant. Well, that's fine, because if Leia goes down, we're not going to beat this mission. But we're in a very good spot. Yes, K2SO cannot be brought back to life. But this is actually really great. So I'm going to just inflict daze on Scout so he doesn't get called to assist. Let's go ahead and do a basic here. Wipe him out. Alright. Okay, heal R2. I was hoping you didn't kill him. Yeah, at this point, it's pretty easy. Because we now have full control of everything. The question is whether or not we want to save our ultimate or not. My guess is I this is the tough part because I do like to have the ultimate ready for the next wave. And you're going to find out why because I want to fracture them. Because I do have the critical units I need. Cassian and K2, again, it's just junk units to me. You know what? I'll just go ahead and just do this. Save the ultimate here. Yeah, I'll save the ultimate since I think it's better to have the ultimate. I do like to have some heals going into next wave. The question is, do I probably want some turn meter, right? Well, actually, no. This is fine. I can go in. I think I do want Leia to have some turn meter, but Kanan's a little bit slow, so I do want to preload some turn meter. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to preload here. Okay, excellent. So Leia goes. This is a pretty nice wave. We have the critical 3 units. Cassian, K2, they both can be gone. Of course, if you do have to deal with this really annoying mechanic here. Do I want to? Yeah, I think I'm gonna outroute both R2 and Kanan. So I'm not in hurry to dispel them. The problem is they're not good. None of them will be entrenched. That's the problem. So I could heal them. The question is whether or not I will outpace Kanan. You know what? I think I can heal them. Okay, so first of all, I can't inflict daze on anyone because daze only work on against attackers, and they're all tanks. And well, the 4 stormtroopers are tanks that can land exposed, and the middle guy is the healer who you can dispel. So I think I'm going to do that since I don't want defense down either. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So yeah, this is what I expected. I was hoping that I modded my Leia for a good amount of defense, health, but more importantly, speed. I didn't want her to be super slow, so that way I can outspeed the enemies while they're taking their turns. So I can, fracture them and look at that. All their turn meter that they gain are gone in. The good news is now, because they're dispelled, now R2 can go ahead and burn everyone. And now that seems a little bit weird because that damage immunity is such a waste. But I think I'm fine. I'll go ahead and kind of work on him, and then I'll try to work on the other guys. Yeah. Alright. I do know by hitting one of them, that might have been the wrong guy to hit, to be honest. This guy needs another hit. This guy needs another hit. Okay, so Kanan now gets the informant. So in the new encounter, the informant status effect changes. So we have to be extra careful. Tell you what, I think we can go for a heal here. Make sure Kanan's alive. And since everyone but this stormtrooper has the ambushed with the ED past tense effect, they don't have their protection anymore, and they take 3 triple damage, I think, to Leia's ultimate. Just to worry about this guy. Which is, I think they do triple damage, right? to ambushed folks. Somewhere in here. Yeah, inflict ambush on all opponents. Deal true damage equal to 30% of Leia's max health. That's why you want to mod her for max health for that true damage. 90%. So 90% is triple of 30%. So that's why I modded her for a lot of health and a lot of speed. Right, both are playing a key role here. And defense, I think I have some defense on her too. And Kanan as well, I think he's kind of having some health and defense, stuff like that. Keep Leia alive. Then we'll go ahead and we'll target this guy. Try to get him ambushed. Cassian's back. K2 is not back. Actually, do not know if we're going to actually kill him before he gets all 6 hits. Yikes. You know what? I'm just going to target another guy. Whew. Okay. I think I can hit him. Okay, cool. That's cool. Alright, cool. So yeah, Kanan, absolutely awesome. I think Baze, I've been recommending Baze before this, but to be honest, I really like Kanan. I really do. And like I said, it's not a clean win. As you can see, I could really, benefit off some dazes here and there. I'm going to try to target the commander so that, Kanan is kept at decent health here. But I'll also try to protect Leia as well as keep Kanan alive and get some foresight here. Yeah, everyone's eyes on Kanan, please. But yeah, so it's this is probably a picture perfect battle. It usually isn't as clean as this. Even then you can kind of see some close moments here. And yeah, it looks kind of spooky here. Even if Kanan dies, since they're all entangled, ambushed, Kanan will be brought back to life. So you're never really that far away. So yeah, so maybe for those of you who have Relic 8 Kanan, it's this one unit might not be too bad of an investment to make. But honestly, Captain Rex and Leia, absolutely amazing. Captain Rex, you can see, can just inflict offense down on them. I know Kanan's doing that too, kind of. But mass offense down, not like Kanan can do it, but not at the rate that Captain Rex can. And the assistance, I mean, basically kind of just neutralizes the opponent here. As you can see, those 6 exposes might not help too much, but at least with Leia full rebel team, she kind of dispels. Here, let's just kind of protect Leia here. We want everyone to kind of focus on Kanan. Now, their offense isn't decreasing. It is actually their health. So because over time, when I say health, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the enemy. The enemy tanks here because it's their mastery that's decreasing from Leia's mastery decrease for not hitting Leia. It makes them easier and easier to kill off over time. And there's also another special thing. You might be wondering, how in the world did Cassian get his damage immunity? He doesn't inflict burn, and burn is equivalent to damage immunity on Leia team, because if you inflict burn, like Drogon, like R2, you get damage immunity. Well, that is because R2, and here's another special bonus, is that R2 inflicts burning, and Cassian is able to copy that burning and give himself damage immunity too. So hopefully we can see another example of that. I know there was an earlier example of it before, so hopefully I can kind of show that. Although I should have taunted here. You know what? I'll give myself an extra turn here. All right. All right. Okay. The tenacity up might be helpful. I don't know. Honestly, Kanan with tenacity up isn't as helpful as I would like it to be. Let's heal Kanan up. Yeah, basic here. All right. Okay, let's see this in action. So R2 burns everyone, gets damage immunity thanks to Leia. That's obvious. Now we're gonna go ahead and inflict burning here, and look at him. Because he re-inflicted that burn, Cassian gets damage immunity. Nice little trick. Alright, I'll keep Kanan alive. Or try to. You know what, let's just help Kanan survive here after. Well, at least I've made sure Leia's under stealth. So, yeah, this is another situation where, let's say Kanan dies. But fortunately for you, because everyone is ambushed, and also has less health as well, gets brought back to life. And that is the battle. That is the battle. This is the fourth time in a row I won with this team under zero op situation. I think it is, with the way this team is structured, I think it's actually pretty resistant compared to other Rebel lineups, except if you have Captain CRex, that's like the golden rebel for TB. So if I did have access to Captain CRex, I would use him instead of Kanan. I would still keep R2 on the team just to help Leia boost, and then obviously you need Leia, you need Cassie, you need K2. But if it wasn't for Captain CRex being required for Zepho, you could use Kanan in this case. So that's what I use. I think it's a pretty good team. Let me know what you think.